It was the boy in white. He said the answers to the end are at the beginning, that it started with the children, what the others did to them. People they loved, people they trusted. The children were born in the dark. They were murdered in the dark. But someone who loved them told them a story.
Because there's no such thing as monsters, honey.
The story gave them hope,
But I just sold company for an obscene amount of money.
I kept thinking, we got a second chance now, you know?
And then you saw the tree.
And then we saw the tree.
Oh, happy retirement, Dad. You bought me a boat, baby.
Thank you.
Dad.
And the children laid on the stones. They poured their hope into the roots that made the symbol, and those roots became the tree.
Faraway tree.
The boy in white was trying to tell Christopher that to save the children, he would have to go through the tree. He wouldn't listen. He got angry. Christopher would go to the tree, so I told my mother what the boy in white said. That's why she left us.
Hello everyone and welcome to Geek Anime channel. I'm your detective host Igor, and today we are going to deep dive into From Season 3 Episode 8. Wow, what an episode, so much of new information, so many new clues, and we are getting better and better and clearer picture of what the hell is going on in this show. Anyway, before I begin, I wanted to say something very quick. We all know, we're all aware there are a lot of spoilers running through the internet. I'm doing my best to avoid them, but sometimes I can't, because I delete images, I delete comments in my comment section or in my Telegram group, and then when somebody who is a dickhead and posts spoilers without warning, because I delete them, I kind of get a glimpse of what the hell is happening. So unfortunately, I was aware of a couple of moments that happened in this episode, and they kind of all came true, so it kind of says that all of the spoilers are true. So yeah, hopefully I'm gonna be able to avoid most of them for episode 9 and 10, but you never know. Anyway, my deal is like this. I'm not gonna share the spoilers with you. Obviously, I was raised correctly. I had nice parents. I still have nice parents, and they are amazing. And they raised me correctly not to be a dickhead. So what I'm saying is basically I'm gonna talk about my theories, and I'm not gonna change my theories because some of you may think I'm having those thoughts because I read the spoilers, and I'm also not gonna pretend that I didn't read the spoilers and try to build some theories that I know already are not true. But as soon as we're gonna reach the point when those spoilers are gonna be revealed, because we saw the episode together already, so yeah, at this moment I'm just gonna tell you, like, this is the moment that I knew about in my previous videos, so I just want to be completely clear with you, but I also don't want to spoil anything for you. So saying that, as usual, I want to thank everyone who supports me on Patreon and on YouTube. Your donations is what make this channel possible. Now there's an interesting thing. Some of you support me on YouTube, and YouTube doesn't send me notification that I got a new member, so I kind of missed 2 people, and I just wanted to like fix it. So first of all, on YouTube I had already 2 subscribers, Sandra Warfield and Blanks. Thank you so much for joining. And on Patreon we have a new motivator too, Andrea Alboscor. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Now let's dive in. So usually I'm trying to dissect like what kind of storylines we have in the episode, and I'm just going through with each and every one of them, and in this episode everything is kind of intertwined. And finally, yes please, we're getting closer to the finale. Only 2 more episodes left. We need to get some more revelations, pun intended, and some more answers. So the episode starts with Boyd, who's probably being like called for help by Ellie, and he's taking Fatima to his safe house where he used to hide Sarah before, but everybody kind of knows about this shack, so it's not really exactly the most safest place. But just look at this moment. We are hearing crows cawing, yeah? Just think about this. While they are shooting this TV show, they have in those big microphones, they know how to isolate all of the sounds, so if there are crows that are cawing in the distance, it means that editor, that the one who was like editing this episode, he took the sound effect of crows cawing and he added them to this episode, and it's gonna happen a couple of more times in this episode. So it's probably something important, especially when I think about the beginning of the season with the crow, you know, like suiciding, going completely kamikaze on Fatima in the tarot card, and also people in this village used to hear the cows, you know, the crows cawing. So yeah, it's probably somehow important. I still don't have any theory how, you know, like the most obvious thing here is basically crows is a symbol of menace, of danger, and this is probably what happens here. But we also kind of starting to gather already the lore picture of this place, like what happened before, and I don't know exactly what is the role that the crows are playing in the whole story that became alive here in this place. Anyway, like he's hiding her in the shack, like stay here, and she's telling him that she was almost possessed, like she wasn't really controlling herself because she's been, like as I told you, almost possessed by the kimono lady, and this is why she's having her baby. Anyway, like we're moving forward, like we're gonna see here, this is the downfall of the rule of Boyd. He was already losing trust from the people in the village, and now he's gonna have to choose between the town and his family, and as any normal man, he chooses his family. Anyway, we're moving forward, like he gives her something to eat. She doesn't want to eat because she understands this is part of the problem, like something very evil grows inside of her. And we have the storyline between Jade and Matthew's family. They're splitting up and everybody's angry at Jim. Ethan is angry at both of his parents because they're arguing like just they did before the, you know, the road trip that was supposed to fix everything. Obviously he's a kid, he doesn't want to see his parents divorced. Yeah, so we have like another interesting moment with Jade. You remember Tom told him you need to sober up, and we have this moment when Jade is looking at the bottle with alcohol, and we can see clearly that he understands that he needs to stop drinking if he wants to solve this place. And he hears a sound, and it's Henry, and Henry is a raging alcoholic. No, I'm kidding, but you know, like if your pick-me-up in the morning is a bottle of whatever alcohol, it's not a good sign. Maybe you should seek some help. Please, you know, like talk to everybody who's close to you and tell them like, I don't drink coffee in the morning, I drink whiskey in the morning to wake up. Most of the people will offer you their help. In this moment, I'm half kidding and I'm half serious. I hope nobody in my audience has this kind of a problem. Anyway, moving forward, Jade is still trying to figure out what the hell is going on here, and yeah, somebody finally finds Tilly. We need help, one of the extras that sometimes gets some kind of alliance, and we can see that ELJIN is getting some step-by-step instructions through the Polaroid, and I still cannot shake off all of the similarities between everything that happened with Sarah in season 1. You need to go there and you need to do this, and after that you need to do this, but I'm not gonna tell you exactly what's gonna be the second or the third step, but this is the way to save everyone. Now this can be actually true because we know that this is a cycle place and the history repeats itself many times, or it's just a manipulation, you know, like saying something that is true. Like the best way to lie is saying 90% that it's true, objective truth, and then adding 10% which is a complete lie. So like, and it's kind of hard to check this lie. This is a good strategy how you deceive a lot of people. Anyway, we're moving forward, like he gets some kind of instruction from the Polaroid. Julie here, she's talking to Randall. They both discussing this moment, like they both felt something. She asks for his help and he declines. He tells her nothing here wants to help us. It's something that you can actually argue about because we have seen many times that this place heals people very fast. Maybe once again because they all need to be alive for the story until they are dead, like until they are finished with their role in this story. This is why it helps. So I don't know if it really helps, and maybe Randall is correct here, but once again it's something worth to remember. And I also think that maybe in episode 9 and 10 he also gonna go there to this place because like he's been called, like Julie's been drawn to this place, he's also doing that and probably feels a little bit guilty that he left Julie alone here. At least I hope he does, because I didn't get enough of this sequence in the end of the episode with Julie. Anyway, we have like here Alice and Boyd, they decide to lie together, and Boyd is asking the first question that was really important to him, that is basically deciding his strategy going on forward. Did anybody see something? Because if somebody would have seen Fatima going away, it's probably like that's it, you're not gonna have to lie, you're gonna have to, you know, put your foot down, scream that you're the sheriff, and you're not gonna let Fatima being hurt. So yeah, you know, like Acosta is pretending that she's a detective and we should talk to everybody in the house, there's gonna be an investigation. Anyway, like yeah, another thing here, like in this scene, there were a couple of moments that kind of bugged me. I'm gonna explain. First of all, Boyd's theory, we're gonna have to rule that anybody came to this place? Are you kidding me? If somebody would have come to this place, you probably would have heard or the car or the screams. And everybody here in this room with Boyd should have probably tell him that, especially Kenny. Like, are you seriously like talking about people arriving in a mysterious way during the night, escaping all of the monsters and then killing Tilly during the day and then running away? Because this is just what you usually do in FROMMGM, you know, you arrive and you're like, I need to kill some grandma, give me some grandma, I need to like stab her in the heart. Yeah, sure. Anyway, another thing that kind of pissed me off here is basically Donna, who's right away thinking about Sarah. And she's saying like, we all need to talk to Sarah. I mean, like 5 seconds ago, you had a conversation with Boyd and he was telling you about Fatima growing some kind of a monster inside of her or going completely off the rails. And you cannot put 2 and 2 together? 5 seconds after this conversation, Tilly is dead and you're like, yeah, this is probably Sarah, yeah. Come on, Donna, you're supposed to be the smart one. This was very upsetting for me. I was like, not really in the character. Anyway, like another thing that she's saying is that basically people gonna need to blame someone for that. So even if it's not Sarah, it's gonna be Sarah if you're not gonna be able to find anybody else. And this was already not my first warning, but the second warning after the town hall meeting in the diner. But I kind of feel more and more that I don't really want those people to be saved. Look, if it was for real and they're real people, obviously I would want them to be saved. But we're watching a TV show and I'm pretty much aware that those are written characters. They're not real, they don't exist. And I'm watching this knowing this, and I also think about, are those people really worth saving? First of all, being incredibly stupid during the diner session, and then they're a bunch of troglodytes. They're like, need to burn someone on the stake. This is what those people are. Like, they don't really care who to blame as long as somebody gets the blame. Yeah, maybe those people are not really actually worth saving. Anyway, moving forward, we have some kind of weird theater, doll theater here with Sarah and Victor. She's trying to do everything he asked in order for him to remember what the hell happened with Jasper. And once again, a little bit of criticism from me, like this, yeah, I know they wanted to have some kind of a catharsis moment and they needed to make it in the end of the episode, but it felt too much. Like, we knew that something's gonna happen, he's gonna remember, but like with Sarah, then with Tabitha, and barely giving us anything else but the struggle of Victor. Anyway, we have an angry Tabitha here after, you know, like experiencing her choice in husbands and not so good. And we have a book here. I tried to understand what is this cover, couldn't find anything. Maybe you will be able to do this. And like Jim here finally talks. Don't you think this is something you should have tell Tabitha probably in the first, maybe on the second day after she came back? Like, you know what, a couple of days ago some weird voice called and kind of introduced himself as Thomas, which can completely be possible right now, especially after we have seen in the end of this episode. People have to start talking to each other. It's season 3. They have to stop being that stupid and keep everything to themselves. This is freaking important. Somebody called and introduced themselves as Thomas. This is not something you keep to yourself. Anyway, we're moving forward. The Jim is like, yeah, you know, they know how to push our buttons, they watch us, they know little details about us. Yeah, they do, but ignoring that is not gonna solve the problem. Can you please understand this? Or no, or is it too much to ask? By the way, with the ability of the kimono lady or of the superpowered Polaroid there, creating images and pictures of places here in FROMMGM, maybe it's somehow related to this ability of monsters and other creatures or ghost spirits, whatever here, to know exactly what happened in every situation, like what happened with Abby, like what happened with each and every one of our characters, what are their flaws, exactly everything about them. So maybe there is actually somebody watching and there are some kind of screens there. Anyway, we've seen like Sarah going to Tabitha asking for help and like this look. If I would be Tabitha, I would definitely leave at this moment. It's like, didn't you listen to everything that I said? Are you still gonna chase? Obviously she is gonna do it. She's not gonna accept her fate and just stay here and live, especially after everything she told you in the previous episode. Maybe you should start listening to her. Anyway, I digress. I need to come back to, to analyzing the show, but those moments kind of pissed me off. Anyway, we have a conversation between Randall, and he's looking for something, and Randall talks about this is not a spot for drugs. He's talking about Julie. I know, I'm kidding. He was obviously talking about the cupboard with all the medicine, but it was just a little bit funny for me. And he's a bad liar. He's talking about Band-Aid, blah blah blah. There is sorry, I'm sorry to you, you sorry to me, whatever. And we have the kit for the blood transfusion, and this is one of those WTF moments for me, because like I can understand a lot of the things that are happening here. I have no idea why would the kimono lady ghost would want some blood from ELJIN for Fatima. How does that even work? It doesn't. Anyway, we're gonna come back to it in the next scene with ELJIN. So far, let's talk about, like Victor. He tries to talk to Tabitha, like help me to remember, like you were the one who helped me to remember Eloise, blah blah blah. Jasper, nothing interesting, no details, no small details. This whole episode was way less, watching with the magnifying glass, and way more getting some new information that you can actually use for future theories. So yeah, Jim usually being like the dad of the year, he's leaving his son for Julie, and she's offering her to go and see something really cool, like a place where we can all get killed. This is usually cool. This conversation also like didn't really add too much for our understanding of this show, but I was enjoying the hell out of it. First of all, I told you already many times, Jade is my favorite character in this show. It was kind of a bit of a tie between him, Boyd, and Victor. Boyd is losing points in this season for me, like a lot, and Victor also a little bit. Like I still love Victor very much, but Jade so far for me is the GOAT of this show. So like just this moment, the arrogance with the confidence, I enjoy it a lot. And this conversation with Jim, stay away from my wife. I really like the fact that Jade is pushing back, fighting off him, and like, get the fuck away from me and move your fucking hands away from me, because good. Somebody needs to tell this to Jim already with his all protective father routine and husband. Not all, like, it's good to be protective, but it's not too much. Like, you cannot limit people's action and take away their agency just because you want to protect them. They have the right to live their life just like they want to. The same way here, I enjoyed it so much when Jay told him, like, what the hell are you talking about? What do you mean I filled her head with ideas? She's not 9, she's a freaking grown-up, she knows exactly what she's doing. So, like, if I'm an arrogant piece of shit that care only about myself and I just want to prove that I'm smarter than anybody else, but it still gets us home, who gives a shit? Exactly, 100%. Stay focused on your goal, and the goal is to escape this place. Okay, you have to do, if not everything that you can, but at least you have to try. So yeah, once again, like, she's a grown-up, you go talk to her, like, your kids is your kids. If you tell me to stay away, I'm gonna stay away. But your wife is a grown-up adult, so if you want her not to do something, maybe you should talk to her. I mean, like, this is just 101 of how to husband. I don't know why Jim doesn't really know that. Anyway, we're moving forward. There's a conversation between Alice and Fatima. Once again, just drama. I'm not gonna add anything here. What was really kind of weird for me here is I watched this TV show many times, and it's not like I know it by heart, but I don't remember this handkerchief. Like, he gave her the lucky handkerchief, remember? The only thought that came to my mind, maybe it was something from season 1 when he was attacked and she gave it to him. I don't know, I don't remember. If some of you remembers, please feel free to write in the comments, because so far it's probably something gonna play some kind of a role. You know, if they show you some kind of an artifact and they focus on it, usually it has some kind of a meaning. Maybe, you know, it's gonna help her escape somehow from this crazy psycho there that took her to the cellar. Maybe not, I don't know, but it's probably gonna play some kind of a role in future episodes. So suddenly Fatima here sees the Ghost of Tsushima, and once again we have this we have this connection between those two because I talked about, you know, them being like intertwined, those two different dimensions, the one where the kimono lady lives and the one where Fatima lives. Somehow they kind of intertwined and they're like mixed together, and this is why she experiencing being pregnant, because this one probably was pregnant when she was alive and now like we need to take her baby or something like this. So anyway, moving forward, she's like, everybody's scared, Fatima is scared, and then the kimono lady disappears and nobody talks about it. But obviously there is a connection between those two. Like this moment, it showed him exactly what he needs to do. He needs to feel a lot of his blood. So why would he need to like give his blood to Fatima? Maybe once again because she's not gonna be like probably fed properly in the place where ELJIN is gonna stuff her in the end of the episode, and this is why she's gonna need some kind of a maybe blood transfusion or something like this. And maybe ELJIN was chosen for that because he has the same blood type as Fatima, or he has like, you know, one of those blood types that can be given to anybody. I don't know, this is a question that's big question mark for me. I don't have too much theories here that sounds very logical to me, but interesting thing here is, look, we have a Pepsi bottle. Okay, we talked about many times, you know, all the fake brands, all the Krillman's colas or all the horrendous moves. And Krillman's cola is everywhere. I've seen a couple of new today also in the bar. I don't know if they are new, I just probably didn't notice them before. But we always like had this explanation that maybe they cannot put real brands, obviously, because like you need to get a permission, blah blah blah. So they can put Pepsi even if it's for a couple of seconds, and there is Pepsi here, so it's not like completely ridden of real brands. So it means if there is a Krillman's cola there, it probably has to play some kind of a role. Once again, I don't know how, especially since we're gonna learn a lot about Ankui children in the end of the episode, and they were the one who created the place, as far as I understand. I don't see them knowing what the hell is Pepsi, and especially what the hell is Krillman's cola. Anyway, we're moving forward, and as I told you, like as soon as he finished his previous task, he gets a new one. So it's like a step-by-step instruction, but you don't know the next step until you fulfill the previous one, just like with Sarah. Like you need to kill Toby and you need to open the door. And then you're gonna have to wait for your next instruction. Now you have to kill Ethan. Didn't work out, something didn't work out there, so yeah. So anyway, I don't know why is it important, but this similarity cannot be ignored, and it's probably gonna play some kind of a role. But once again, Sarah heard those voices in her head. This one gets Polaroids, so it's maybe a different force using the same tactics, I don't know. Anyway, like we have the blah blah conversation here, you should shut the fuck up and listen, be a husband, not be a husband. So Jim is talking about his history, like his dad was a drunk, and he was younger, he joined Fight Club, and it didn't work so much for him.
Think this is a game? You're too young to train here, end of story. Now quit wasting our time, get the fuck out of here.
So when he had his first baby, he, you know, did everything he could in order to like become a better father. So like Henry gives him an opportunity. So once again, the theme of fathers and sons repeating itself it many times, you know, Boyd with, you know, like repeating what happened with his father with the Parkinson's disease. Now we have Jim and his dad being drunk, and probably Jim had a drinking problem before Julie was born. And we have Henry here, who is also a drunk, but you know, like he's a little bit more understandable, like especially after what he went through. Anyway, like once again, no details, blah blah blah. So we have the main event of this episode, almost the main event. Julie is entering this place. She's saying basically like this is the only place where the screams are getting quiet. So it's almost like hot and cold, like this place is basically telling Julie hot, hotter, hotter. Okay, war burning, you're in the right place. I think if she's gonna get as far as possible from this place, the voices are gonna get stronger and stronger. I think they're gonna become intolerable. So like if she wants to feel better, she needs to come to this place. This is how it manipulates her. So yeah, like this is an interesting moment. I don't know once again how to completely digest it, because when Julie asks Ethan, in your story, what is this moment? And he says it's a threshold. Now, threshold is a professional slang and professional language used by writers and creators. Not something that usually being said by a 9-year, 10-year-old kid, whatever. Like, this is once again, like if you're talking about thresholds in popular movies, Neo taking the red pill, I don't know, Harry Potter going to the 9 3/4 station, whatever. All of those moments, there is no turning back, and they kind of take a certain amount of courage from the hero. A hero needs to be brave, and if he gets through there, he's gonna open a completely new world for him, blah blah blah. But there's also no turning back for his former self. Not gonna happen, not gonna work. So once again, it felt like not Ethan talking to Julie, it felt like the writers are telling us something, that this is Julie's threshold, she's not gonna be able to go back, and we are not gonna be able to go back, because once again, this whole session kinda wow. Once again, full disclosure, a couple of days ago, in the beginning of the previous week, I unfortunately was spoiled the fact that Julie is the one who's gonna throw the rope. So I knew that she's gonna be in this place, in this cellar, and she's probably gonna be somehow in the past or something like this, because I still don't understand exactly how it works. So it wasn't really like, oh my god moment for me. I kinda hoped that maybe those spoilers are not correct and I'm still gonna be able to be surprised in this moment, but it didn't work. Anyway, we're moving forward, like the hero has to be brave, and once again the crows are going in the distance. Once again, think about it, the editor sits there in front of his computer and the director is telling him, okay, here in this moment, please add some crows sounds, because the crows need to be cawing in the distance. What for? Danger? Something bad is gonna happen? I don't know. Anyway, moving forward, like Julie is in the cellar, in Martin's cellar, and some very freaky things are happening. First of all, she's seen herself and Marielle and Randall, like everything that happened in the end of season 2. So this is already a past. Okay, but did she travel to the past, like before this place was demolished, before it was destroyed, like it looks like now? How did it happen for her? Okay, there's a question worth asking, because we have seen Boyd using the magical torch or whatever, and like using the light, something that brought him back to this place. And Julie just basically enters and she is right away here. So is it really a different dimension like I thought before? Or maybe the future is the sum of nows? You remember the Emily Dickinson's poem in the diner? Like, this one's one of my first clues that it's probably gonna be some kind of a time travel in this show. And then I started to think, blah blah blah, and I saw also Terran Theory, and he was also thinking about it. And there's also obviously the song in the intro, Que sera, everything is gonna be, whatever it be is gonna be, something's gonna be. It still doesn't feel like time travel. It feels like maybe this place somehow unites all of the time or all of the memories, and there is no past and future here, or you know, like present, whatever. Everything isn't present. Everything that happened in the past, everything that gonna happen in the future, everything is here in this place, can exist simultaneously. Once again, it's just a theory, just something that is coming to my mind, but I don't think it's just basically, you know, you get inside this place and it's like a DeLorean, it takes you exactly to 1874. Anyway, we're gonna come back to this topic. Meanwhile, Ethan is seeing that she's having a seizure, so what it means, like everybody who was having seizures, like ELJIN and Ethan and Sarah in previous episode, were also being there in this place but don't remember anything? Or where Ethan in the beginning of episode 2, I think, after his seizure, he's talking about like seeing a room and then a spider came from the ceiling and the Lake of Tears was there. Maybe he was also in this place, somehow seeing everything that happened or gonna happen, because he was seeing obviously Victor's room. But we have no idea what Sarah was seeing, and we have no idea what ELJIN was seeing while they were having this seizure. So yes, Sarah is, you know, like a good one here. She's helping Victor to remember. You know, Tabitha was trying to appeal to his logical side, try to help him remember some kind of details, and Sarah appealed to his more emotional side of his brain, talking about the feelings, like what he has felt in this day when he first heard Jasper. Yeah, so it helps because he remembers it was a warm day and they were playing hide and seek, and you know, like Eloise was so good at hide and seek. Once again, maybe I'm stretching too much here, but it kind of feels like Eloise is hiding somewhere because she's really good at hide and seek. This is not the first time he tells that. He told it to Sarah already, I think in episode 3 or in episode 4, when they were building a fort, like we used to play hide and seek and she was so good at it, blah blah blah. So is she hiding somewhere? Is she really alive? Maybe, probably not, but maybe. Anyway, like he remembers that they were actually talking in the church. So this guy, once again, I told you, I don't want this colony house to be saved anymore. Like, I know people can be angry, blah blah blah, you know, like once again, if it was real life, I would obviously be way more understanding. Here I'm watching a TV shows, and when characters annoy me in TV shows, I'm not sad when they are being written off. So I'm not talking about this guy specifically, obviously, I'm talking about all of the attitude of somebody is being killed, so it's definitely Sarah. I mean, you are living in a place when there is no police, there's just sheriff, but you still remember being in the real world. You forgot about your whole like innocent before proven guilty. Yeah, sure, talk to Sarah, obviously investigate her, but don't put her in the box if you don't have any proof. Why would she kill Tilly? Especially since she has an alibi with Victor. So you don't trust him either. Anyways, it's like this scene really pissed me off. I was like, yeah, you know, like, let's kill all of them, forget them. And they're stupid. Anyway, so this plan, you know, living in a tent, blah blah blah. Once again, Donna is being shocked completely that this is Fatima. I'm like, 5 minutes ago we were talking and you were the one saying that Fatima needs to leave the colony house because she's a danger to everybody around her, and then like 5 seconds later you're like, oh my god, was that really Fatima who killed Tilly? Oh, I can't believe this. Not a very good writing in my opinion. Anyway, like those two, we can see already the sparks of rebellion are getting stronger. Acosta is obviously gonna lead them. We can see like that Kenny is completely trusting in Boyd's judgment, but it's not only that. We remember his conversation with Sarah. They kind of work this through, you know, like her giving him an option to kill her. So Kenny is obviously not that angry at her anymore because he knows what this place can do to people. This one, every time there is Boyd in the conversation, she knows that she needs to overthrow them. So as soon as she's gonna feel weakness and distrust from other people towards Boyd, she's obviously gonna exploit it. Anyway, they see Ethan and Ethan's like, yeah, please save my sister. So the shrieking and screaming stop. Why? I don't know. Boyd saved them, but she would have seen Boyd there. Something like whatever. Once again, another question. And here we have the moment. Like the biggest question of them all, like who threw the freaking rope? And we can see that it was Julie, but before that, this moment, like look at Martin, he's like, Julie? Okay, who can it be? Now, there are a couple of associations right away running through my head. The first thing that comes to my mind is obviously Randall, because we've seen them together being like, you know, getting some kind of a connection between them. So somehow Randall is being still in this place, still being tortured, maybe, you know, like going to this place, sacrificing himself to stay in this wall, and it takes like a lot of years. But we never seen on Randall a marine tattoo. I don't remember seeing it on his arm, so doesn't really work. Now, another thing that comes to my mind is once again this scene that I kind of dismissed. You know, I thought about it many times, but it didn't work out. Like, obviously I'm talking about, you know, the beginning of this first season, episode 2, and you know, this scene.
Julie.
Hey, what are you doing?
Don't you recognize me?
Julie.
How do you know my name?
So since we know right now that Julie can time travel here in this place and can see things that already happened, somehow maybe the monster knows her somehow. I don't know how, but once again, like, we haven't seen her meeting the guy in these caves or whatever, but like, once again, there is something here. Why all the people here recognizing Julie? Like, she's like, well, a messiah of this place or something like this? I don't know, but it's probably has some kind of a connection here. So he throws the rope, and look, another thing, like it felt a little bit, once again it's just my interpretation of the moment, but it felt a little bit like Martin is playing a role with Boyd, but he's talking completely normally with Julie. He's like, hey Julie, is that you, Julie? There's a normal conversation voice. And when he's talking to Boyd there in the well, he's like, you, who are you? Oh, save me, blah blah blah. You know, he has a different voice, he talks a little bit differently. It feels like he knew exactly that Boyd is gonna be there and this is what he needs to do for him. And it's not just him screaming at Boyd because he's in the far distance. It's also like after Boyd gets out, also Martin talks a little bit, you know, like, I'm a mystical old dude, whatever, blah blah blah, worms please. But with Julie, it's a normal old guy and doesn't actually feel that old that in this image. So we're moving forward, like she's throwing the rope, yeah, we resolved this issue, but it kind of added more questions to what the hell is going on here. So he tells her like, you need to leave, it's not safe here, and then just a couple of seconds later she can see that now he's disappeared. Like she's experiencing some very important moments. Later here she's hearing in the caves how Victor and Tabitha are going through them, exactly the same conversation. This is the beginning of season 2. If you don't remember, like this is the moment.
No, Victor, you need to tell me what's going on. We're happy.
Underneath the town. This is where the monsters live. This is where they sleep. And I can get us out.
The what? No, Victor, you need to tell me what's going on. We're happy.
Underneath the town. This is where the monsters live. This is where they sleep. And I can get us out. The boy in white, he showed me the white.
So you can argue that maybe she's kind of moving back in time in this place. It started with her seeing herself and Randall and Marielle suffering, then we had the moment with Boyd, and now we have the moment with Tabitha and Victor. But you can also argue that the moment with Tabitha and Victor and with Boyd kind of happened simultaneously, because it's basically the same episode, so it kind of happened in the same period of time. So the caves are obviously have some kind of a magical concept there, some kind of supernatural abilities. You can travel through time, and maybe while you are in the caves, once again the whole concept of time stops working and you can enter Martin's cellar, or you can be in somewhere else. I don't know exactly how it works, but I know that my mind goes to this direction. Like whatever turn you take, if you turn left, let's say you get to this place, and if you turn right you get to this year. I don't know if it works exactly like that, but it kind of where my mind goes to. And here in this moment we can see some kind of a light. It's a warm yellow light, so it's probably fire, like real fire, once again some kind of a torchlight or something like this. And she hears Ankui, first of all one child, then the second one, then they all together like Ankui, 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 and then like, ah, kill me now please. So something bad happened and she's hearing those screams, and then she's being saved by Kenny and Acosta. Fuck them. I know they wanted to save the kid, but you know, like I had to get some more information from this place. Next time, save her later, please. Anyway, like they blah blah rebellion, we don't trust you, and Boyd was not really protecting too much the people lately. He was way more concerned with his own motivations, like what he needs to do for his family, and Donna is basically telling him some of the wake up words that he needs to get, like it's not we understood about Sarah, we basically forgot and moved on because you told us to, but people are losing trust in you, people are losing their belief in you, and if you're not gonna tell anyone, I'm gonna tell it to them. So we remember, okay, from the synopsis of episode 9 and 10, it's actually spoilers, so I'm not gonna talk about it, but it's already, you can assume that there's gonna be a lot of trouble for Boyd. Like I'm pretty sure that season 3 is not gonna end in the same point where season 1 and season 2 ended, where Boyd was the one to save everybody and everyone was like, hey, hooray, Boyd is our hero. Probably it's gonna end with him being a pariah, or you know, like having just a small group of people with him. So yeah, moving forward, finally the conversation between Christopher and Jasper. So they went to the cellar, and then Victor remembers it wasn't Jasper, it was actually the boy in white. Now the first question that comes to my mind, now what the hell was happening then with this doll? White was always appearing to Jade. Yeah, Victor's selective memory maybe made him so afraid of this doll because it connected to this moment. Like this moment, we're gonna explain this later, but why does this doll is being shown to Jade? Jade was not part of this conversation. Maybe it's because of his connection somehow to Christopher, and this is why he sees the doll everywhere. I don't know, but it's, once again, it feels a little bit too much for me. Like, it's not working. If the doll is really just a doll and nothing else, what was the point of it, all of those visions for Jade? No idea. Anyway, we're moving forward and let's see what we get here. And this is very, very important. So it was the boy in white, and the boy in white said to Christopher that the answers to the end are at the beginning. Translating, in order to escape this place, in order to understand how it's all gonna end, you need to understand what happened in the beginning, what actually caused this place to become real, what actually caused this curse that draws people inside where they have to live their worst nightmares. This all is in the beginning. So this is what we're gonna try to understand today in this video. So he said, like, it started with the children, what the others did to them, the people they loved, the people they trusted. The children are born in the dark and then they were murdered in the dark. But someone who loved them told them a story, the story that gave them hope, and when the children laid on the stones, they poured their hope into the roots that made the symbol. And those roots became the tree, the faraway tree. I don't know how she came to this conclusion, but probably it is. And also, like, the boy in white was trying to tell Christopher that to save the children, he would have to go through the tree. And then, like, Christopher didn't trust the boy in white. He's saying, like, you're a liar, everything lies here. This is Jim's attitude. Everything is a lie, you don't have to follow any thread here, everything's a lie, blah blah blah, I'm Jim, I'm not listening to anybody, blah 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 blah. And then we're moving forward, like, this is his biggest drama. This is why he reacted to Jasper that way when he first saw him in the caves, because this was his anchor of this memory, Jasper, this conversation between Christopher. And because Christopher didn't want to go through the faraway tree, he said it to his mom, and his mom went there, and it kind of, like, was pretty much of a traumatic experience for Victor, losing both his mom and his younger sister, and staying here in this place completely alone and scared and afraid and being like the most precious poor soul I can ever think about for a couple of decades. So yeah, let's try to summarize. So how it all started. The answer to that is in the beginning. As I told you, translation, you want to leave this place, you need to understand what happened that made this place in the first place. Place. It started with the children. So Ankui children, as I told you before, this is my theory, they used to live in the village where there was the thumbing, where everybody hears the thumbing, blah blah blah, the noise. Ankui children doing some parkour on the roofs. What the others did to them. So they were sacrificed, we have seen them. This is also what was drawn on the walls in the caves. And the people they loved and trusted, like, the only thing that comes to my mind, especially when we talk about children, is parents. Like, who else? Their lovers? Obviously not. This is their parents or some siblings, I don't know, uncle, aunt, some of the grown-ups, because children are trusting their grown-ups, their parents, their whatever, uncles and aunts, to protect them. And they betrayed this trust. The children are born in the dark. Were they actually being born in the caves? I don't know. And then they were murdered in the dark. We have seen this in the stones, like when the Ankui. But someone who loved them told them a story. Once again, if the parents betrayed them, someone still loved them and told them a story. Who was it? Some kind of a leader of this tribe when they were living, or maybe their mom, and their father went completely insane. Mom kind of works for me because they're always looking for a mom figure, like with Miranda, like with Tabitha, like maybe possibly even with Abby. I don't know if it's true, but the whole mom theory works very well for me. So maybe like their mom couldn't and wasn't able to save them, but like invented some kind of a story that gave them hope about a future life that's gonna happen after death or something like this. And the story that gave them hope that it's not the end, even after the death, it's not the end. We have this theme already a couple of times in this episode. So when they laid on the stones, they poured their hope into the roots that became symbol and became tree. Faraway tree? Yeah. I'm still not 100% that this is faraway tree. Maybe this is, you know, the spider webs tree, but probably most likely it's the faraway tree. Anyway, like the whole Ankui word somehow gave them this power. My opinion, once again, this is my theory. So you know, like one of the reasons why Ankui sounds like a made-up word, because maybe it is. Maybe it's not really connected to Latin or, you know, Beltux or whatever. Maybe it was just some word that this person who loved them invented and told them, like, if you're gonna call for Ankui, he's gonna come and save you in the last minute. And they were like, Ankui, please come and save us. Ankui, the spirit that guards and protects children. Something like this maybe happened, and then their sheer pain and power of will and hope somehow created this place that feeds on hope. But it's not enough for them, so this place draws people that are hopeful, that are like waiting for a new life, blah blah blah, to this place all the time because it needs new batteries. Now there's a lot still that cannot be explained. The monsters, the whole faraway tree, how it works, all of those things, all of those concepts are still in the big question mark area, but it feels a little bit more clear right now what happened in the beginning. Now, in order to stop this, everything, you have to save those tortured souls. They are being tortured every cycle, and it's probably every time they're trying to restart the story, but it still ends with their sacrifice. And if you save them from this sacrifice, from this ritual killing, maybe this whole place is gonna be destroyed and everybody's gonna be able to escape. Now the boy in white, who the hell is he and how is he working with this story? Is he the Ankui spirit from my theory or not? I have no idea. Is he even good? Does he even have some kind of a close to, you know, well intentions? Once again, I don't know, but he's saying for a while already you have to go to the faraway tree in order to save the kids. Now Christopher declined. Tabitha agreed, but she wasn't able to save them. They weren't even there in the lighthouse. They're not there. She's been thrown from this lighthouse in order to find herself in real life world, where she was able to not learn too much, not that much of information. Once again, if Christopher was the one to escape, he probably would have found also Henry and maybe, you know, like have a conversation with him and get some answers. I don't know, but if it's a cycle that repeats itself for many years, then every time the boy in white sends somebody to the lighthouse to get some answers about what happened with the chosen one from before, I don't know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, still feels a little bit shaky and, you know, not on a solid ground. This theory doesn't have solid ground, but still I can already see the picture clearer, and I hope you too. And we're getting closer to the end of the episode, so ELJIN, this fucker knows that it's Fatima inside. It's not like he's getting just instructions without clarifications. He's having this conversation with the kimono lady, with the Ghost of Tsushima, and she's telling him all the time, like, this is what you need to do. So he knew that he have to take Fatima to this place. You remember in previous episode when he said, like, this is where it happens? This is probably where she's gonna give birth. Like, this is the only logical explanation that comes to my mind. So when Ellis comes back, he doesn't find Fatima, and she's been taken, like, with the most dumbest lie of all. I know Fatima, like, it's not stupid, but, you know, like, maybe she's tired. This is why she believed. Since, like, ELJIN knew that she's in the shack, he was able to explain it probably by saying, like, how else would I know that you're inside there? Yeah, Alice is the one that sent me. So, liar, liar, pants on fire. Literally, I hope that your pants are gonna be in fire next episode, or, you know, like in the end of the season, because this is not nice, not very nice. And yeah, like, Fatima understand that Alice is probably not there. Because if he was there, he would already say something and be like, it's not like he's hiding under the bed because he wants to make a surprise for Fatima. No, she understands something is wrong, she wants to leave, but ELJIN saying here, like, there is no baby, and he's saying, yes, there is. This is the kimono lady's baby, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe I'm wrong, but nothing else comes to my mind. This is her baby. and probably the kimono lady wants this baby to be born, because maybe we know when she was alive she was killed before she was able to deliver this baby, and now, you know, like she's repeating everything that happened to her with Fatima, and she wants to see her baby, you know, somehow being born. But what is gonna be born here? It's not like Fatima's gonna give birth to the ghost. You know, it's like, ooh, you know, like Casper the friendly ghost is coming out of Fatima. That's a vision I didn't need in my mind. Anyway, like something is gonna be born. And yeah, there's a lot of theories it's gonna be a monster, and if it's gonna be a monster, I'm obviously gonna be very disappointed, because then you have like a couple of dozens of monsters in this place. Like what, you have all of the monsters were born by Fatimas here from the previous cycles. Like every cycle you have what, 10 Fatimas giving birth to the monsters? Not logical at all. Anyway, that's what he's saying, like the baby, it's just not yours, blah blah blah. And then like she groans because she wants to escape, and even though ELJIN didn't really try to stop her by force, he's not really there to help. At least maybe he's thinking he wants to help, but once again he's been manipulated just like Sarah was. So he takes her and he says to her that the baby knows you have to stay. The baby is manipulating also Fatima. It hurts her when she's not eating the rotten food, when she wants to escape from this place. So yeah, the baby has some kind of a agency here. The baby has a mind, baby has a will, and it understands what needs to happen in order for this baby to be delivered to this world, which is freaking crazy and scary. Yeah, so once again, point of no return. This is not a good threshold for ELJIN. This is not something you're gonna be easy to recover. Like your reputation, not so much after this moment. So he drags Fatima to the cellar, to this place where he's gonna probably give her some kind of a blood transfusion. For what? No idea. What the fuck, I am so stupid. Oh my god, the whole video and I didn't think about it. The blood is there just for food. She needs to drink blood and eat some rotten food, so he just prepared some food for her, so she will have something to eat. Yeah. And if she's not gonna eat, then they're gonna make a blood transfusion for her, so she will still get some blood of other people inside of her. Yeah, sorry, it took me so much time to understand that. Anyway, we finished, and thank you so much for watching this video until this moment. And I kind of forgot, but I really wanted to advertise my friend. Okay, this is not something he paid me for, it's just a guy that I really know and respect, and he also started doing some videos in English, and he is kind of have a different approach to From TV show. He's watching the TV show, but he's not like analyzing like I do or other YouTubers, some of the other YouTubers. He's very good at creating atmosphere. Okay, I enjoy, you know, listening most of the, like, not even watching, listening to his videos, because he's creating this kind of amazing vibe of, you know, like people sitting together and talking about the TV show. Once again, just give it a try. I'm gonna leave the link. You don't have to like it, you don't have to subscribe or something like this. It's not a call to action. Go subscribe, help him. No, go check this out if you're interested at all to check this out. If you like it, great, you earned. If you don't, you lost a couple of seconds of your life, and I apologize for that, and I hope you will forgive me. Anyway, like as I told you, link is gonna be in the pinned comment, so enjoy. Now, since we're talking about advertising, I also wanted to talk to you about, you know, like future plans for this channel. From is gonna be over soon, and I'm still gonna do a lot of videos about this TV show, but there's not gonna be like once a week analysis, obviously. So first of all, I released a video about Arcane. I know this is not the usual type of show for my audience, but I love it so much, and if you didn't check it out, please check it out. I think it was a good video. You know, like I cannot judge myself too much because I'm obviously here not super objective about it, but I think it was a good video, so please check it out. And I also preparing for you a video about the first season of Silo, one of my favorite TV shows. I love it. It's very similar to From, with a lot of mysteries, with a lot of riddles. So this video is basically gonna go through the whole season 1. I'm gonna talk to you about the lore of this place, how this place works, and also I'm gonna raise every question that we need to remember before season 2 in order to be able to understand everything that happens in season 2. So I think it's gonna be a very good and interesting video, at least I hope so. So I really hope that after this TV show is gonna end, like the season is gonna end, we're still gonna be able to like get together here and talk about the things that we love, the TV shows that we love. So I'm gonna see you next week with the Silo, and hopefully you're gonna check Arcane too. If not, it's okay. I can understand why most of my audience probably wouldn't be that interested in Arcane, even though it's one of the best TV shows ever created, but I can like advise you to check Silo if you didn't, because if you enjoyed From, there's a very good chance you're gonna enjoy Silo too. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. Please feel free to support me any way feels comfortable for you. If you don't feel comfortable doing anything more than just watching this video until this moment, it's way more than enough. It's okay. You can leave it and just, you know, not like, not subscribe. It's still very much appreciated from my side. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!